Welcome to Earground. Tonight is a very special edition in so many ways. And for the first time, we're having a guest who's non-Zimbabwean on a topic that is going to touch on Zimbabwean, African, and a global sound. That is the sound of reggae. So I'll be speaking to a brother all the way from Kingston, Jamaica. In the meantime, I'll be playing one or two songs. I'll be connecting to our guest in Kingston, Jamaica. So my guest is Zanj Rracc. I don't know if I've said it so well, but he's a music curator, a DJ, and a web radio specialist based in Kingston, Jamaica. And he's the founder of the Zanj Radio, so a DJ, producer, and presenter for the station. But he's also an archivist, he's a documenter, he's a journalist. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's connect straight to Kingston. So, thanks a lot to my sister Shona K. I see you connecting all the way from Jamaica as well. Greetings.
We'll connect. Yeah, I have to say this is absolutely interesting.
Yeah, man.
New kind of connections. Greetings.
greetings, my brother. How do things?
Yeah, man. Everything is well. I'm grateful for being on your show and everything. Give thanks.
Thanks a lot. It's such an honor to have you on the program and on a beautiful Sunday like this one. How is Kingston, Jamaica right now?
Yeah, where I am is a little bit cooler than the normal days, but I know that down in the valley, it's very very hot. So yeah, the heat is on. The heat is on.
Awesome. Yeah, just to start off with, maybe you could share in like 2 minutes with our guests and our listeners and those that are watching across the world. Who are you and what is it that you do? And then we get straight into our conversation.
Well, greetings to everybody. Good morning, good night, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Zanj, and I'm the founder and music curator at Zanj Radio, which is an international world music platform. It's located here in Jamaica. We focus on, curating world music, as well as DJs who present music differently from different parts of the world. And also just a variety of styles of music that is in the mainstream as well as in the underground. So that's what I do. I've been doing, I've been a DJ, a music curator. I've been working in, internet radio for the past 10 years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. And welcome to the listeners and all those that are catching us from the different parts of the world. I see some watching from UK, some from Zimbabwe, from SA, from Australia, Canada, and also Kingston, Jamaica. So, I think our first interaction was 2 years back when we were talking about music, and you were doing an inquiry or a research into some traditional music from Zimbabwe. And I remember we had a very interesting conversation. Take me through what was your first initial interaction with the Zimbabwean music?
My first initial interaction with Zimbabwean music, I would say, came through a documentary that I encountered while at school. I was doing a film course and I saw a documentary about the mbira, and I got fascinated by the instrument. I got fascinated by it, and all of the music, the sound that was coming when I listened to it. But then the first group that I actually came across that used the mbira, I started researching, looking into conventional music, contemporary music, was the Zanzibar.
Mm-hmm.
Mbira Zenzihara, Zenarira,
Bira Zenarira, yes.
which is the Zenarira,
Yeah.
you know. Also, so their music is really the first music that I really, you know, took interest in as it relates to Zimbabwe music, like the group. Then it was Thomas Mapfumo and the whole Kimarenga struggle and the Kimarenga music.
Yeah, man.
You know, you get that those types of genres from Zimbabwe was the first type of music that get me interested in the Zimbabwe space. You know, um, you know, from there, so it really wasn't. You know, it was more of a period in my research around music and interest in music, looking at East African music
Yeah.
that enabled me to encounter all of that. But yeah, those were the first types and everything.
Interesting enough, I mean, because my initial thought would have been reggae. You know, maybe your first connection to Zimbabwe was like reggae. At what point did you get information or word on the dancehall and the reggae scene in Zimbabwe?
Well, all right. You see, when you say Bob Marley did always have a big song named Zimbabwe when they did for Zimbabwean independence.
Yeah, man.
You see, here in Jamaica, you know, you're not necessarily, when you're growing up, you're not necessarily open or exposed to anything that have to do with the African continent, really. Outside of the Rastafari expression, you really do, and especially when it comes on to like going beyond Ethiopia, there's not really much within the Jamaican cultural expression that points to other countries outside of Ethiopia and Africa, you know, music and so forth. You know, we know about Zimbabwe. Bob Marley did do this, the reggae song, Zimbabwe and so forth. Yeah, and that, you know, looking into like just studying reggae music and so forth, you understand, you get to understand that the diaspora is where a lot of the cross section or the exchange of music takes place between the Africans in Africa and those outside of Africa. And that's how I came into like just trying to find out about African music, because as I was saying to you earlier, it's actually a documentary I saw with the Mbira, and that was at an African film festival here in Kingston.
Okay.
And so it's just me taking it upon myself, because there's no, you don't see anything. And so when I start looking into further into the music and so forth, especially now, I would say now the first, I think is Ja Praiser. I think is Ja Praiser was the first. Yeah, it was the first like dancehall Zim artist where I say, oh, we can listen to this. You understand? You know, and I think other outside of that is Winky D, but those are just the two I you know that really you get a little insight into, because of like diaspora and so forth, like popular in the UK and then so that are just where it starts, like right there. So
quite interesting. So you're saying much of this information is not available in the mainstream. One has to really dig deep to find it.
Yeah, man, you have to dig deep. You actually have to be really interested in music to find out about like anything that is African music outside of what is like happening now from all the Niger scene and the Ghanaian scene, West African sounds. Outside, like in Zim music here in Jamaica, there's no such thing.
Wow.
You understand?
Interesting.
There's no such thing as Zim music. Yeah, man. Like if you ask anybody in Jamaica about an artist from Zimbabwe,
they don't know.
Tell you, if we have no man. To be honest, like from here at our station,
Yeah, man.
you know, we have a guy from Zimbabwe, Nabat Rizla.
Oh, Nabot Rizla, yeah, yeah.
If him no place, yeah, if him no play some of the Zim hip hop, you know, we not we wouldn't know some of the artists, you know that there is a flourishing hip hop scene in Zimbabwe that is actually like it's there, it's
Yeah,
alive.
man.
You understand? Some of the commentary from yourself that I follow on social media, you know, not if you don't do those things on your own initiative, then
You don't find the information.
you don't get any news. No, no,
This
no,
is
no.
quite interesting because I grew up with so much influence from reggae and dancehall, as literally as I can remember. I think some of the first sounds and the first music that I listened to was reggae and dancehall, and I'm so much deeply immersed in the culture, in the sound system culture, the dancehall culture. Why? Because we had a lot of it coming to Zimbabwe through the UK, and DJs were coming through, and there were sound systems. There was the Stereo One, there was Silverstone, there was New Generation, there was Alkebulani, and Digital One, and some that actually had names that were also coming from Jamaica. And if you ask an average Zimbabwean, they would know a dancer or a Jamaican artist, be they reggae, they know Peter Tosh, they know like so much. And almost every year we have artists coming from Jamaica coming to Zimbabwe. Don't these artists talk about Zimbabwe, their experience in Zimbabwe when they come back? Like literally every year we have 4, 5, 6 artists coming to Zimbabwe.
Not you know, not openly. That's what I would say. They're when artists go to Zimbabwe, um, in they'll show stuff on their social media in general when they go to Africa or you know any one of those places that they tour. They show stuff. Uh, Zimbabwe is not a country that when you talk about Jamaican music and its you know its exterior relations and where artists get the most respect and response. Zimbabwe doesn't factor into anybody's list or it doesn't appear on the map or in the minds of people when you talk about reception of Jamaican music, reggae or dancehall. Based on what you have told me as well as some of the research that I've done, what I've found,
Yeah.
yeah, them get whole heap of love. Them get whole heap of love as Zimbabwe. I would know that. You know, I've heard of a case where you know Sizzla Kalanji get land or something like
You
that,
got
and
land from
you know
Robert
there are
Mugabe, yeah.
cases with yeah. You see what may I say? That type of reception in terms of you know here in Jamaica, people knowing and acknowledging that you know Zimbabwe have a thriving music scene that we can relate. It's not no, it's not vice versa, and so you know it's weird, but that's the case. But there's an explanation for that still, you know, because the Jamaican culture, the social Jamaican, the majority of the population
Yeah, man.
is not necessarily open to things that have to do with Africa first and foremost. Like it can eventually it gets there, but usually it gets there through the filters of the diaspora, the London, the New York cities, you know,
Yeah.
like those places that Jamaicans go there and hear the music and
Yeah, man.
take it to Jamaica and stuff like it.
So, yeah, interesting there. Which countries from Africa would you say have managed to really create an impression on the Jamaican scene musically?
Well, right now it's basically you know some of what's coming out of West Africa. I would have just confined it to Nigeria. There's a lot of people tend to want to say that the Afrobeat sound is Nigerian, and that's not necessarily the case. Um, is mostly what's coming out of Nigeria, and you know you find that a lot of the dancehall artists they're just now, starting to like fully delve into creating music around the Afrobeat sound. So, for instance, I know that Taurus Riley
Yeah, man.
just released a album called Blem, or an EP called Blem, and it's produced by the brethren who produced Toast for coffee, right? And that album is just is all Afrobeatsy kind of stuff. Stone Boy
Yeah, man.
doing a lot of collaborations with Jamaican artists as well, Davido,
Yeah, man.
and so forth. Pato Rankin came and performed at not Reggae Sumfest, Rebel Salute.
Rebel Salute. Yeah,
Rebel
man.
Salute. Yeah, and Bobby Wine
Bobby Wine.
from Uganda
Uganda, yeah.
also. Yeah, yeah, so he came this year. So is multiple places, and I can pinpoint that, for instance, like Rebel Salute is one major show that tries to at least integrate a major African act, onto their show. I remember even one time, I have a very faint memory. I think they brought Sierra Leone refugee all-star band
Yeah,
to
man.
Rebel Salute. Like they go to that extent, not just to bring the more contemporary sounds, but those that are indigenous as well. So, that those are the places that I know making inroads into Jamaica right now. Outside of that, it get to be tricky,
Yeah, I
It get
hear
to be
you. I
tricky.
hear you. So, in a way, the Afrobeat sound is there. People recognize it. It plays on the dance scene.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, but me laugh, I laugh
Yeah, man.
because I remember in a story where one of my sisters, she's on the bus and there's a Afrobeat song playing, and
Yeah, man.
somebody tell the driver to turn it off because they don't understand the language. So, even 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 in the space, like the Jamaican space where the dancehall thrives,
Yeah, man.
there's a kind of hesitation towards the Afrobeat. But I think is in Trinidad.
In
Trinidad
Tobago,
is
yeah.
where the Afrobeat really, kind of take over a little bit, because it closely the rhythmic patterns, and the bass line and the vibration kind of resemble a lot of calypso and
Yeah,
soca
Calypso and
music.
Kasoka, yeah.
Yeah, in a Jamaica, the Afrobeat, it'll take time, it'll come, it'll come, but it'll like a time. But I think what really has sparked it now
Yeah.
is the fact that, the Afrobeat that is getting a lot of prominence internationally have a Jamaican flavor coming out of Africa. Like the artists sound
Yeah,
like
man.
Jamaican. So I think the dancehall artists them are realize, but the man them sound like we, and we now do this. You understand? So it's quite possible that that's a stimulant, but it's coming slowly but surely. It's coming.
And how do, just in general, how does the Jamaican scene relate to artists from elsewhere that are trying to sound like them? For example, there's a conversation in Zimbabwe as to what is going to go international. So if somebody's doing dancehall, when they are doing it in English, in Patois, and sounding more Jamaican, and then the generality of commentators would say, oh, this is now international. And is it the same when it comes to Jamaica in terms of the reception?
In terms of the reception, when the people hear the Afrobeat, the I don't know, I don't even know if the reception is like, it's not even it's the reception is not even yet so shaped to really can like answer like a question like that, because people hear it, and I think is the musicians. They know that these people sound like Jamaica,
Yeah, man.
and they have in Africa there is a bigger market than what's available here locally. Um, the music that is common in Jamaica is not the music that people know Jamaica for. Jamaica, like when people think say coffee,
Yeah, man.
coffee
Coffee is the big thing right now.
is playing here. Yeah, but she's not like the big thing on the ground in Jamaica.
Who's the big
The
thing
big thing on
right
the
now?
ground in Jamaica is the six. Chronic Law, Squash. Like when you hear them, you go everywhere in Jamaica, you hear Squash. Six is real. The Vibes Cartel still popular. Popcorn.
Yeah, man.
But there is the Jamaican music space locally is,
Yeah,
in my opinion, very different from what is promoted internationally. And so a lot of people have an idea about what is happening in Jamaica's music space. That actually isn't really the case. There are a lot of sounds that are playing on the dancehall space here in Jamaica that would not cut it internationally. And also in terms of what is coming into Jamaica,
yeah, man.
it's not the African sound doesn't come into Jamaica as easily as people would want or expect it or suspect it to. What you find is that it has to come through like just the North American case or the North American point. So for instance, Davido, was here in Jamaica with Popcorn. But they're not known. Stonebwoy, I saw an interesting video once on Twitter, Stonebwoy's Twitter. He was showing some artists. I can't remember who exactly it was. If it was Chronic. He came to Ghana or something and showing the reception big. And him must say, boy, I wish him would have get some other reception when him come to Jamaica.
Yeah,
Nobody don't know these artists, but them big. So it's not even close to like gauging as yet, because there really isn't that much in this space.
Interesting. Still on that, are you aware of the discrepancy or the differences in terms of the amount artists from Jamaica charge when they come to perform in Africa as compared to when they perform in Europe? For example, I was having a conversation about, I will not mention an artist, but one artist last week, and they charged like $7,000 to come and perform in Europe. And the same artists, when they performed in Zimbabwe 2 years back, they were paid $60,000, right? So the amounts in Zimbabwe for artists coming from Jamaica, the ones that I know have been ranging, the minimum has been $20,000 and ranging up to $100,000. And when they come to Europe, I know the figures are very, very low, like super, super low. What's your response to that?
Me laugh. No, it's serious, because I laugh because I used to work with a European booking agency, and I go call them name. And, some of them contract that we used to do for some very, very prominent artists, I mean, let me tell you, man. You see the European thing?
Yeah, man.
I remember we came across the article and I shared it with you. There was the same conversation
Yeah, I remember
being had. In Jamaica, they don't talk about that. That's not that people don't talk about that. That conversation is not had. In fact, I don't think people know. It's only people who really doing the work behind the scenes know that there's a huge discrepancy between what the artists, especially the reggae one, them will love talk about Mama Africa and build
they love Africa so much.
Catalog of Mama Africa.
Man.
You know what I say? If the discrepancy between what them are charge for go to Africa and when them a charge to go to Europe come out, people laugh and not support them thing in Jamaica, you know, because it's not something that people know. The artists that come from Jamaica who are based in Jamaica, I can't say that because there are Jamaican artists who are also based in the United States and Canada as well, you know. The one them will come from Jamaica and go tour in other places, in Europe first and foremost. Them don't get paid as in comparison as to what is asked or requested from the African promoters. That's what I will say. And the fees them, it's so exorbitant and the discrepancy so wide. Me and another you know, presenter who work here at our station, you know, we're always discussing, you know, what are the reasons that this could be the case. And we know say it not really have to do with nothing musical, you know, cause, you know, we have a history with kind of colonial certain ways, so you know you behave towards certain people differently than your own brethren as history. You know, so it's like I think that has a big part to play in it. And also just the belief that, you know, the African them have whole heap of money that available where you can ask for. Yeah, I laugh. There is a real thing, you know, like
For
the
real.
African them have whole heap of money where you can ask for. Yeah, you can ask the African them directly because it's like your brethren, you know. When me look for Plat, you know, when I look for Plat, a Plat come from Zimbabwe. Plat look like my brethren a Spanish town who him know send me a big star, so I can say, yo, just give me money. You know, when I look for some other people, them kind of get a little, you know, more, you know, and, you know, you cause you know, say, it's not the same, and, you know, there, I can't really explain it outside of that. I think that the artist would have to come out directly and honestly and speak to why that is an actual, like, issue and thing, but people know, especially in Jamaica, like, them know, say, oh, you know, so it go. Charge African them all leave that, you know, so it go. I don't know why.
It's quite interesting because like even the kind of hospitality that they get when they come, for example, in Zimbabwe. I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you. When an artist from Jamaica comes to Zimbabwe, there is a convoy, you know, of top class vehicles waiting at the airport. There is 100 or 50 people that are waiting to escort them from the airport. They get 5-star, you know, hospitality in terms of the hotels. They get, you know, the best kind of treatment. They've got like a tech rider that is like up there, right? And they get featured on almost all the radio stations, you know, except when one has exclusive rights for that concert. All the media, the journalists, they are excited, they're writing the stories, they are everywhere, you know, talking about this, right? What's interesting is that when they go back, they don't talk about this. They don't even talk about their experience like in public. You know, they don't make news about it the same way that they make news. They get paid 5 times the amount they get paid in Europe. I've seen some artists here in Europe when they come, they're just picked up by one car from the airport to one hotel, not even 5-star. They are taken from there, they go to perform, they go back, and then they fly back to Jamaica, you know, which is quite interesting why this is different. So,
well, you know what I would say, you know, just think about it from a real common sense level. Why I think the reason is primarily something that is outside of the music, that is more of a social history. Because just think about it. If you go to a place that pays you more, why wouldn't you want to go there more? You understand? You know, so why them no want go Africa more if Africa pay them more? Them a go Europe. But like artists have summer tours that last 3 months in Europe, but Africa have like you can go do a tour in Africa, yeah, get paid more money. There must be a reason. I think the reason has to do with, you know, just something that is not is not really honest. Is music. Them a deal with a music from a specific angle, you know, and catering to a specific market that is not necessary, especially reggae, because we all know that reggae wasn't necessarily a music that was born out of capitalism, marketability. It's a music where for uplift and develop people, and you can try find a way for monetize and sell it over the years. Them evolve in doing that kind of business. But you know, it sells. It's big in Africa for that specific reason. The historical relationship that the reggae musicians have based on them experience in Jamaica is similar to what Africans experience. So the music relates so easily that you pay a whole heap fee because them make you feel good, you know? They make you feel good. So it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing.
Quite interesting there. And you know, I'll be flipping from one part to the other. I'll go back. I want to ask you a bit about Zimdancehall, Zimbabwean version of dancehall, later on. But now, how has reggae and dancehall evolved in Jamaica, say, in the past 10 years? How is the situation now? Is it still at the same level? And yeah, what's the current state of reggae and dancehall in Jamaica right now?
Well, you know, I would say that there's evolution taking place, especially very creatively. People experimenting with new genres of music. You know, I think reggae now, though there's a issue between some of the sounds that are coming out of Jamaica that they're confusing for reggae, which is not necessarily the case, because real reggae music, one drop reggae music, is still being made in the studios here and in the corners and the crevices of Jamaica, like where you're accustomed to with Bob Marley and Peter Tosh. Them music they still are making in Jamaica. Singers still doing reggae. There's another type of sound that is coming out of Jamaica, like for instance that Coffee has, that people call in reggae. That is not reggae music.
What sound is it?
The issue with what that is a thing. The Jamaicans don't want to call it, don't want to create a new name for a new fusion, a new genre that they're creating. The thing with Jamaica's musical history, which a lot of people kind of forget sometimes, is that Jamaica is like a megalithic, a huge cornerstone in world music history. I mean, if aliens did for come from Saturn for one party, them a come a Jamaica for come source who can put on the party for them. Jamaica make at least 6 or 7 genres of music that has made 6 or 7 more genres of music. You understand? And what has happened over time is that there's a way now that the Jamaican music space and the culture, them get afraid. They have gotten so afraid to call a name, a new name for a new genre, because Coffee is not doing reggae music, you know. And I could list a whole set of artists. Even I go as far as saying that Chronology by Chronix was such a good album, but it wasn't a reggae album. It had a lot of fusion stuff. You understand? Kabaka's most recent album, Contraband. Those are not reggae albums. Those are some fusion things that, you know, Stony Hill with Damian Marley. Them have a whole heap of fusion. You understand? So there's an evolution that's taking place, but a lot of people are not calling a name, like they don't want to give it a name. You know, but on the dancehall side, what you see happening, you know, is like the people like, you know, Nicki Minaj and Rihanna, they come and they say island pop or something like that. You know, they're mixing even the dancehall side with the Afrobeat. The evolution of dancehall music is more international than local. So how the evolution of dancehall on the local scene takes place, it more comes through the international space. So that's why I was saying earlier, it's just now you're finding dancehall artists trying to do Afrobeat. You understand? You even have reggae artists now. I sound like them a hip hop artist. I can like a recent song I heard with Jesse Royal, Lions them good, you know. Them sound like hip hop artists. They're not singing like reggae, or they're not putting the lyrics together in a way that it's reggae styled. It's more of like a hip hop style delivery over reggae beats. And so the evolution, you know, it gets tricky. It has a lot of North American influences, and so forth. You know, in on the local dancehall scene now, there's a type of dancehall called trap dancehall that comes from Montego Bay, the other side of Jamaica, the island, Kingston, other side of second part of the, Jamaica.
Yeah.
And you know, they have their own like culture. You know, in terms of, you know, the sound, what the content, and that is what is running the place. Like at that hot, like the trap sound, the trap dancehall, and the trap dancehall has a very strong element of hip hop. You understand?
Yeah.
So it get very weird, but in another way, there is hip hop coming out of Jamaica that is very Jamaican, but it is hip hop that doesn't really get featured in the Jamaican space, but it is also an evolutionary component of Jamaican music. And all of those genres, like, they play their part, but I think what really is the main thing is that the music is evolving, but there's a confusion as to, you know, what is this called. You know, like, there's still reggae, there's still dancehall originally, but the new thing, we don't know what it called, but people just say reggae cause a reggae seller. Everybody already knows say a reggae come from Jamaica. So you do a sound that is kind of new, but because you come from Jamaica and you're trying to sell, is reggae music.
Great.
So that, yeah, that's how it is.
And in terms of the sound system business, how is it? Because in Zimbabwe, this was like the biggest movement that ushered in what we now call Zimdancehall and just the reggae dancehall culture in the country. How is it in Jamaica? Is it still vibrant? Do you still have sound clashes? And do people still really have interest towards sound systems?
Yeah, man. Sound system culture in Jamaica still big. You know, street dance and everything, them thing they're still big. It big to the point where them the tourists in the big players in the tourist board just last week came out saying they need the Noise Abatement Act, which is a like a regulatory measure as to what time you can turn down the music nationally. You understand? They really want to get this thing so regulated that, because sound system culture big at Jamaica, wake up our tourists in them out there.
Wow.
It's still there, but it's not. You still, there are certain things that are not necessarily still common, like sound clash. I think is more. There's a bridging that I see a whole heap. You know, world clash, sound clash. You know, those there's still that element where, you know, there's a world sound clash event that happens around the world that is put on by a group of people. That is still a big thing. In Jamaica, there are specific events around the ones that you mentioned. You know, those people still have them sound, and so sound system culture is still big, and them even go a little bit now in terms of evolution. You have people pushing around, you know, like sounds now, and like these little trolleys that they use to sell music from. But it's like they'll have one boom box and a trolley. In Kingston, there are a few guys who have a push cart that is a huge motor driven thing that they drive through Kingston and then just play music and sell music. So there are different ways that the sound system culture is evolving and so forth. The buses, that the minibuses in Kingston, they have huge sound systems, and when them ready, them park up and them just play like a party. You understand? Like, so sound system culture evolve in a different ways, you know.
Interesting.
While also having the original thing.
Great. And how do artists sell music in Jamaica? Because you just mentioned minibuses in Zimbabwe, what we call combis or communal minibuses. Um, and these are a huge distributor when it comes to music in terms of just playing but not selling the music. How is music? Are still people buying hard copies in Jamaica? And how is the level of piracy?
People don't buy music in Jamaica like that still, You know, people buy music through like that you described with the buses. And these little things that I'm saying, the little carts are tractors, little boom boxes that they push around. They're actually selling music, and a lot of the artists use these people to get their music out, and then you also have, like these types of DJs. They're like dancehall music curators. What they do is they make specific like dancehall party type, music for the buses, for the public transportation. Like you have a specific set of them. And those brethrens now, those are the ones that a lot of upcoming artists, emerging talents use to get their music out there. Because usually what happens, is what playing at the street, then make it way to the radio. Jamaica, it's not necessarily the way around.
It's now the same
Where
in
you go for
Zimbabwe
radio
too.
and then you try. Okay. So that's so it is. It gets hot in the street and then it goes up, and so you know that's how the music is dispensed in terms of the dancehall and the reggae sounds. There are another set of people who are more concentrating on the digital side,
Yeah, man.
through the SoundCloud and them thing there. But the majority of those who doing the popular music use the ordinary underground folk and avenues to get the music out.
Interesting. And in terms of business, so music, does it still make business sense in Jamaica? Do artists live off music alone, or they have to have a 9 to 5 elsewhere and then do music?
Well, it depends on the stage, It depends on the stage where you're at. When most artists are starting out, they tend to, have to do something else. It's very hard to sustain in yourself in the creative industries in Jamaica. I always tell my brethren them in Africa, say any country in Africa are just a bigger version of Jamaica. Believe me.
Yeah.
Only just not surrounded by sea. You
Yeah,
know.
man. Yeah.
So when artists are starting out, you find that it's always difficult, but a very, very good talent, a very, very good artist who understand the Jamaican landscape will cut it. Whichever way, whether big group coming, going under one of the group, them umbrella, like I saying, as the six around the place now, or one time they have a Gaza, if some people are part with unruly. So like is whether them going to be a part of one of those, groups are a record label. There are many record labels out there now, and there are other avenues that also play music, such as ours, that give artists an opportunity to connect with the international spaces. But it's difficult. But it's big business, same way. It's a whole big business, especially the dances, stage shows. Most artists make money in Jamaica from stage shows in terms of dancehall and reggae artists. They make the money from the stage shows. The parties very, very huge. Especially like the soca parties, very huge. The summer coming up, there's the ATI parties, so dancehall artists tend for make some money off of that once them get, and there's some fest. So the business part of it is highly activated on the performance end. In the promotional part now,
Yeah, man.
you know, a lot of it is just you have to stick it out. You have to stick it out. And until you reach a level that you can function.
Great. And in terms of dance, I know it's one of the very important part of the reggae and dancehall culture, the dance part. And you know, I have an interesting story. I don't know if you're aware of it. In Zimbabwe, we have a dance that we call clacks. You know, we call them clacks. And this started off from the time that Popcorn and Vibes Cartel did Clarks. Me prefer Clarks. What's the
yeah, the Clarks
yeah,
song.
man, the Clarks song.
Real bad man, no Magdalena Clarks. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Straight.
Straight jeans.
Yeah, man. So that song created a whole revolution. We have dance groups, we have dancers dancing to dances that they call clacks. And not necessarily mimicking what was happening in that video, but now they've created their own movement. And this was huge at some point. Now it's still there. How is it like in Jamaica? Are dance groups big? Is it big business? We see mainly in videos, ladies, you know, shaking and stuff. Is it the stereotype or that's the reality?
The dance group them in Jamaica, you know, dancing is not necessarily big business. There are some who are organized, ding dong, and ravers. You know, them tend to be more organized around them stuff, and that's because them have like a bigger entity behind them that is also like a big dancehall promotion entity. There are other dancing groups. There's also, I know there's a dancehall studio that people go and dance there. People who bring people from Europe, like dancehall workshops. You know, there are these different types of activities, but it's not as big as, you know, dancing. You would want to think that, you know, based on what we see come out of America, where, you know, a lot of dancers are paid, you know, it's not the same thing. I don't even think a lot of the dances are copyrighted. I don't think they have like a certain kind of rights that they follow, but the creative component of that, like, yeah, what you see internationally in terms of what happened on the ground with whole heap of dancers, that's a big thing. There's a way how dancers make money in Jamaica that I can tell you that you would probably know, is that they dance on the street here in Jamaica, and then they'll have their little pans and ask for a collection. You know what I mean? So that's how a lot of people. There's a show on one of the major TV stations here that is a dancing show. You know, they have a season for it, and then the best dancer, the best group, you know, gets to do whatever when they win and so forth. And so there are those there little things that help. Some of the dancehall artists like Spice, for instance, she, you know, like how reggae artists travel with band, dancehall artists, some of them travel with dancers, you know. So Spice have her own, you know, and I know that Elephant Man used to have theme own, you know, and Ding Dong them have them own, yeah. And so that is how it is in Jamaica for the dancing, really. It's not as organized.
Interesting. And yeah, I will bring back to Zimbabwe in terms of the music side. Zimdancehall. Do you know Zimdancehall?
I know a little bit, you know. I can tell you something. I know Jack Fraser and Winky D. I know Tucky Vibes. There are some artists I'm more just familiar with like the older the older Zim artists, you know, Mapfo, more Comrade Chinks, Leonard Dembo.
Yeah.
Like them kind of artists, them music, them really. No, but I have to ask you for give me translation for the one go and dub there.
No,
You
definitely
know,
I will do that. Cool. So
yeah.
Zimdancehall is an offshoot of, it's actually a hybrid. It's our own version of dancehall. And this has been big for the past several years, and artists have come and gone, but there are some of the biggest artists right now is Winky D. He has been there, I think, since years now. Winky D is the biggest of them all, I would say.
Mm.
There's Ja Preza. When he started off, he was doing dancehall, but now he's doing a whole different genre, has his own unique genre, and he's one of the leading. He's one of the top two artists in Zimbabwe when it comes to pop music. So
Mm.
the Zimdancehall genre has artists that are doing the hardcore dancehall, which they call helmets, and then there are those that are doing the other Zimdancehall that has a lot of local fusion, you know. But there's a debate, there's a struggle there to say, when are we going to have an artist that is going to break in international? And you've mentioned Toki Vibes, you've mentioned Winky D. And what's your perception when you hear Zimdancehall?
When I hear Zimdancehall, I just the those two artists, Winky D, as I said, Ja Preza. I think there's a specific album that Ja Preza did have one get access to. Somebody sent me that I did like. Winky D though, I like Winky D, the rhythms. The Winky D depend some rhythm where I don't know where I talk about, but I love how it sound. That's just what I love about him in particular. There's a way that the beat has a type of international, something that I'm accustomed to. That is, it also is new because it's the words, is not from here and stuff. So when my ears him dancehall is just, and this is just another type of music where you can take in, you can listen to. I really think that personally I would have to do like more work to find out about Zim dancehall artists. One of the things that I found that is an impediment is that you kind of hard to find. They're kind of difficult to find Zim dancehall artists. Like easily, I would say. There's you if you type Zim dancehall in like YouTube or in Google, they will show you people like Winky D and so forth. And for me, my brain a little bit sometimes work a little bit weird. I would have asked, so who are the women in Zim dancehall? And I try to find that. It's not as easily, found, or I wish there was some place that you can go as an entrance into Zim dancehall culture, like a magazine. I don't know if there's one
No,
that
there's none.
covers Zim dancehall. Well, see that are it. Like I don't know. So if there's somebody was to ask me like, oh, where you want, me find something about reggae music or dancehall music, no. There are a lot of things that I could name, like platforms that I could name and say, oh, go look there, sir. Oh, go look here, sir. I think that's one of the things that make it difficult for get into Zim dancehall like musically and appreciate the artists.
Great. I have a couple of examples. Winky D did a collaboration with Beenie Man. Did the song ever get any
Okay.
airplay there in Jamaica?
You see what I tell you? No, if you never said that to me, I wouldn't know right now. I have to go look for that. I never know, and I have songs of Winky D. I never know Winky D and Beenie Man have music. I know. I think Ja Praise have a song with Cure. Am I
Jackie.
correct?
Jackie.
So I know that one. I know said there is something like that. And that isn't because that is played in Jamaica. Nobody don't know say Jackie have sung with Zimbabwe and musician in Jamaica. Really. Unless you work with Jackie seriously. Is you know there no you don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know say Winky D have been in with a collaboration.
Aitana, she was nominated for the Grammy. And on that album, she has a collaboration with a Zimbabwean artist called Nati O. Did you know about this? Do you know this song?
No. You see, no, we don't know none of them things there. You see, we don't know none of them things there. And when them that's you see that's a I like how you ask these questions. It's important because the reggae artists don't talk about their music like that. You understand what I say? We not get the opportunity. Like here on our platform, our station, we have to create a show for get artists to do that. Like we don't really get the opportunity to hear Jamaican musicians say, "Oh, you know, we have 7 different people on this project, and this person work with this person who come from that place and that." You don't really hear that. Most times when you hear Jamaican artists talk about their music, it's based on some tour, some former event, something done that is controversial. So it's not really an opportunity for enable the people to be exposed to other places where musicians come from who they work with. You understand? So it's a very interesting thing when we ask these questions.
Okay. Still on that, I'll ask one last question. There are a couple of rhythms that were done by Zimbabwean producers that feature Jamaican artists. Do you know any? Or have you heard of this before?
No. Yeah, well, you did tell me one long time. Why would they have a conversation? But no. I don't even know the names of those rhythms. I don't even know them sound. Maybe me hear them and don't know them as well. You know? No, we don't know. We don't know. We don't get that kind of exposure to find them thing there. One of the things in a plot is that in Jamaica the music come out a whole lot, the music stockpile like rapidly. And people don't necessarily look beyond the shores of Jamaica for dancehall music and music production and creativity. So it get weird, Zimdancehall. No, we don't really know about the collabos and the production here in Jamaica.
Blessed. Just before we close off, I want to ask, what do you think needs to be done? There's a bit of an echo. I think is your earpiece connected well?
Yeah, you hear a buzz? You hear something?
A bit of echo. Yeah, it's gone.
Okay.
It's still there, but anyway, we can talk. What do you think needs to be done to strengthen these relations and collaborations in a more mutually beneficial way? Because we are promoting a lot of artists from Jamaica coming to, for example, Zimbabwe and other African countries. A lot of PR, a lot of publicity. And we have had projects with Turbulence. We featured on a project with Say Colors. And we have so many artists that have done collaborations with Zimbabwean artists. Right. And the last one was what Grace Morgan. He featured on a project with one Nyasha David. But like you're saying, there is no feedback on that end. The information is on the end on one side.
Yeah, well, what I think can be done, is just that I think the Jamaican artists who are working with the Zimbabwean artists and the various different people like producers, them just need for say, I just need for expose the people you know, to what's happening. I know that when the Jamaican artists go to Zimbabwe, they make tracks, they do work with producers in whatever short period or stints they're there for. You know, different collaborative activities take place. So is you know them know like the Jamaican artists just need for acknowledge and just say what is really happening, or people who are familiar with what's happening just need to say it, because you know the music is getting to a place now where you know collaborations become more key than anything else in terms of exposure and growth. And so for a lot of people, if I think in Jamaica, if they don't talk about what who they are working with in uh Jamaica and Zimbabwe and other parts of the world, whoever they're working with, then it's going to be a very, very big issue in terms of people won't know, won't be no, nobody really won't have any idea about the relationships that are occurring or have taken place, you know. And so I think one of the things that the Jamaican artists and the people involved in music will know just have to start speaking more about it, you know. I can just add one other quick point.
Yeah, man.
You know, Zim artists probably just have to know say Jamaica is like a mecca too. It's not a place I would say that people who are in Zimbabwe, the artists who are in Zimbabwe, or Africa for a wider, just so like a wider, generally speaking, I wouldn't say, yo, looking at Jamaica as like a market for come entrench yourself or consolidate your music. I would say look at it more as a mecca that, you know, you probably know that if you're doing Jamaican music, Jamaican originated music, original music, you know, you come, you visit, you look, you study, if you want to live here, you can live here too. But just know that, you know, Jamaica looks outward. It will create a whole heap here, you know. But there's a way where Jamaica looks outward, in a very contradictory kind of style. It weird, you know. Them look outward, but them are deal with things in a Jamaica. So it's, you know, that's a way there. That's a really way there. Like, you know, people just need to communicate.
And before we go, would you say Jamaicans support their own? Like in Zimbabwe, it's a struggle for local artists to get support from home. We listen to a lot of foreign music. All the music that coming from outside, we hype it. We play it so much on radio. We write about it in newspapers. We dance to it in clubs. Is it the same also, or local Jamaican music has enough space?
Yeah, man. The support is there. It's just that it's more the energies vary based on who. Um, you know, the local people them on the ground them support it because Jamaica is a very difficult place to live in, and music is the lifeblood, is what keep the people them alive. You know, and so a lot of people support it. You know, the promotions. But there are places where it falls short. The Jamaican government can do a lot more. You know, I think they need to have places where music is designated places to play music, and so you know the support come, and the culture is very expansive here in Jamaica. So you know it's there. New medias are new media originating and stuff. So yeah, the support there. The support is growing as well. You know, internationally and locally.
Wow, thank you so much. I don't know if there's anything that you think I've left out, but this was quite profound.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I give thanks, man. Is a real respect and honor for talk to you. Cause we respect and rate what you do with music and art and culture in Zimbabwe and where you are. You know. So give thanks.
And lastly, before you go, this just hit my mind. What would be your advice to the Zimbabwean artist and Zimbabwean artist right now?
You know, me that say Zimbabwean artists need for just them need for come together and create something, some place where we can find the music easily. Like somebody is either the Zimbabwean artist go and do it or somebody who manage Zimbabwean artists go and do it. But I think Zimbabwean artists are very hard to find. How lots of people find Zimbabwean artists is through like through South African house and them thing they are, you know, them very, very hard to find. So I would have said Zimbabwean artists, you know, just become more visible in terms of, you know, the international space because the music is a whole heap of music. It's a whole heap of music. And and so use the digital platforms outside of the main ones like the SoundCloud and the Mixcloud, you know, like utilize the other ones. There are plenty other places where music can go. Try unconventional markets for your music, you know, because you just never know. Like music gets so, you know, international now that you know Zim hip hop is playing in Australia and Finland. Believe me, you know. So it's like just you just have to do that. Try the unconventional places, um, you know that you've never thought of and promote there as well. That would have been my advice. You know. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It was really great speaking to you, and I learned so much. And I hope also those that are watching benefited a lot. And we'll circulate, you know, the video on other platforms so that more people can have access to it. And I want to say thank you so much for taking your time and being part of this interview. There's something that just hit my mind before we go, but if anyone mind
Yeah,
me
man.
ask,
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
it's quite interesting. Sean Paul just said language is the biggest barrier for Jamaican artists. Is Pato, in Zimbabwe we say Patwa for Pato, you know, I don't know how we pronounce it.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Um, yeah, I think that convenient, you know. That's very convenient. That is, you know, when I heard him said, I thought to myself that, but the brethren from South Korea, where name Psy, Gangnam Style, I don't know what Psy say, and him go very, very big. I think language music in itself is a language. So I don't know if language is a barrier. I think language becomes a barrier for certain people when it is necessary. Because there's also the business in the music, and the business side of music very prejudiced. A lot of people don't know I want to talk about that, but music business have a whole lot of prejudice. Maybe Zimbabwean artists can speak very well to that. Um, there are ways where when a man a go say patois is a language barrier, it's very hard for accept because yes, you know that you know it hard if you go to China, you can't understand Chinese if you never learned it before. But people respond to music wherever they are once it's good music or once it's sound in a way that catch them bone. Bob Marley said when the music hit you, you feel no pain.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
are because music is something universal, you know. Him never say when
True.
the music, when you listen to the music. Him say when the music hit you, it's because anywhere you go in the world, once you hit
It's gonna
somebody,
hit you,
them know
yeah.
what that means. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
man.
know what I
Yeah.
say? So it like when Sean Paul said that, me have to say, yo, come on, Sean Paul, like you as a big artist know say when you say just give me the light, them never know what you mean, but it sell because them know say tutum 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 them know what that do.
Yeah, man.
You know what I say?
Yeah.
When I mean the Shaka Demos and Pliers can tell you about Murder She Wrote. Them don't know what them are sing about with Murder She Wrote. Them don't know about you see the beat
Yeah.
and the language is the same thing happens to me with Winky D. I don't know what Winky D said, you know. But I see the beat with the language, there's something we do, and we can say, oh, this guy listen to me, you
Yeah,
know,
man.
it's so good. So he has a point to the extent where it becomes is when it is convenient for people to use it. You understand? That's what I think. It's just like somebody, it becomes like they don't want to book you for your show just because you're patois. you know, your music now is going to that market is because some people don't like your patois. I know enough people can't tell what coffee is saying. A lot of people don't know what coffee is
But
saying
they love
because
coffee.
the lyrics are very you know, so that's just it, you know. That's my take.
Blessed. Thank you so much. It's been awesome, and I definitely think that we're gonna have another one some other day. But this has been quite enlightening. My mind has just been opened up to a lot of realities that I was not aware of, and thank you so much. So to those,
Yeah, man, big up, man. Enough respect, man.
yeah, okay, yeah, you're saying.
Yeah, man, I just I say give thanks and enough respect. As I say, it's an honor. It's an honor to have the conversation. I'm grateful for just take part in that.
Blessed. And yeah, thank you so much. This has been a great conversation. And to those that are watching, I've been speaking there to Zanj Rracc. Did I say that right?
Yeah, man, DJ Zanj, world music curator, DJ specialist, Zandre, the founder, you know? Big up.
Yeah, man. Straight out of Jamaica, Kingston. You know, every artist, young artist, you'll find out in
Yeah,
Zimbabwe, most have a song that says one day they want to end up in Jamaica. They're going to get to Jamaica. And this is how much the connection, how much big the connection is between Jamaica and Zimbabwe.
Yeah. You see that I sad part. You know, I said that's why I say them for look upon it as just wanting to come as like a Mecca, you know. You just some place where you come to, you know, you have the reggae music, you have the dancehall, you must come to Jamaica for see what's happening, the place where it originated.
Yeah, man.
You know, that so yeah, certain things said.
Yeah, we're gonna make that happen. We'll link up with a couple of artists and we'll try to come through to Jamaica and see where it's all happening. I did that with hip hop and it opened my mind, and I think this is a possibility, and we'll be coming straight to you. So thanks a lot to those that are watching. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining. And to give us, definitely, we're going to make sure that this interview is on YouTube. Check in the next 5-6 hours, you find it on YouTube as well. And those that are watching from the Earground page, thank you for joining. Keep liking the page, more content coming through. DJ Zanj, one love.
Yeah, man, big up, man. Send my brother.
Thank you so much. To sign off, I'm going to play a song by Mosafa. It's a beautiful song. I'll send you some of this music from Zimbabwe.
Yeah, man, you have to send me some music, man. Send me whole heap of Zim music, man. Whole heap.
Definitely, I'll do that.
Yeah, man.
Blessed. So yeah, thank you so much. I was getting carried away there. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. This has been awesome. This has been interesting. And I tell you, the plot is going to thicken. There's going to be a whole lot more that's coming up. On Tuesday, we have an interview. Tuesday, who's there? Wow, I have to check my schedule for the next. Let me log on to earground.com for the next interviews. We have a couple of interviews that are lined up this week. So on Tuesday, yeah, I'm talking to Toki Vibes at 1200 hours. That is in the afternoon, midday. I'm speaking to Toki Vibes Jamakwangu before he takes off for UK. And on Wednesday at 12, I'm going to speak to St. Emo, son to His Excellency, the President of Zimbabwe, Emerson Mnangagwa Mnangagwa, Emerson Jr. I'm going to be speaking to him. He's an artist, a musician. And then on Wednesday, I'm speaking to Taz, former Africa Revenge member, at 9 p.m. And then on Thursday at 11, at 12, I'm going to be speaking to Masa Caroline. And thank you so much, guys, for the support. This means a lot. And send in requests. Whom do you want to see on the program? We'll be making more efforts. And thank you so much.
Radio, rooted to the ground, not to the ear. Earground.
She says she want me good.
Good people, what up world, straight out of Zimbabwe, it's your boy Fun to the 8th man, the God producer from Guy Paraxai, and right now you're listening to the hottest radio on the planet, the whole universe, Earground Radio, you already know, it's new voices amplified, let's get it.
Goddamn, why now we ain't got